Hello everyone, welcome to Motor on Beat Beat. My name is Alan and today we have got an exciting one to do, we really have. It's Billy Fury's final resting place. He's in Mill Hill Cemetery in London, and Billy, when you listen, was a really big star. So let's go forward and find him. Spin you round, there we go. Billy Fury in his early career, he equalled the Beatles, believe it or not. Because in the 1960s he had a record of 24 hits, and that equaled 332 weeks in the charts. So it's quite a substantial, quite a substantial singer really. So his real name was Ronald Wycherley, and of course later on he changed that to Billy Fury for the obvious reasons, to become more intriguing. So what started his career off was he went to see the impresario Larry Palms at the Exaldo Theatre in Birkenhead, and the idea he had was to sell his songs, not to be a performer, but to sell them to Marty Wilde or to some other singer, that was established as a singer. But Larry Palms realised his ability and his looks, thrust him onto the stage, and suddenly we've got a new performer. And of course he was responsible for changing his name. He was likened a great deal to Elvis Presley because of his sort of sexuality in the way that he thrust his hips around in a sort of a sexy way basically. And it very similar to Elvis in a way, in England rather than America. He got the same sort of press saying that he was too sexy, a bit disgusting really. And in October 1959, the music magazine NME stated that he'd been, receiving much criticism for his sexual way of delivering the songs. His first song was for Decca, and it was called Maybe Tomorrow in 1959. He also appeared in a televised play called Strictly for Sparrows, and subsequently on Oh Boy, which was a well-known TV programme at the time, obviously. That was followed by That Love, and his first album was The Sound of Fury, 1960, and it featured a very young Joe Brown on guitar, and the backup by the 4Js. After securing more hits and splitting from his band, Palms split from Georgie Fame and the Blue Notes, and he went on to audition groups in Liverpool, one of which was, of course, the Beatles. Well, not of course, but it was the Beatles. They were still called the Silver Beatles at this point, and they did actually get offered a gig, but it was £20 a week. But the problem was that it was that Stuart Sutcliffe, they didn't want him in the band, and John Lennon stuck out for it and said, no, we won't drop Stuart Sutcliffe. So they never got that, But one thing they did do, John Lennon went to Billy Fury to get his autograph, so it showed you how well thought of Billy Fury was. Fury confessed to NME that he wanted to be thought of simply as a singer and not more specifically as a rock singer. I'm growing up, I want to broaden my scope, I shall continue to sing rock songs, but at the same time my stage act is not going to be as wild in the future. It was Decca's decision to mould Fury into a teen idol after his last self-penned song, My Christmas Prayer, had failed to chart. The year 1961 through to 1963 were Fury's best years chart-wise. In 1962 he appeared in the first film, Play It Cool, modelled on Elvis's films. It featured Ellen Shapiro, Danny Williams, Shane Fenton and Bobby Vee, who appeared with the Vernon Girls. The hit single from the film was Once Upon a Dream. There were other notable performances by several British actors and the performers such as Richard Wattis, Lionel Blair and Dennis Price. Fury, We Want Billy 1963 was one of the first live albums in rock history and featured renditions of his hits and covers of several R&B songs such as Unchained Melody. Despite spending many weeks in the charts, Fury never achieved a #1 single, but he remained popular even after his hits stopped. In 1973 Fury came out of semi-retirement, and he went on to star as Stormy Tempest in the film That'll Be the Day, also with Ringo Starr and David Essex, of course. The group was based basically on the Beatles. In the mid-1970s, Fury went on the road with Marty Wilde, away from the spotlight to focus on wildlife preservation. Fury's health deteriorated and he underwent 2 open heart surgeries. The first was in 1972 and the second was in 1976. In 1978, Fury was declared bankrupt for unpaid taxes to the Inland Revenue. In 1981 and 1982, Fury was signed to Polydor Records by A&R man Frank Nielsen and recorded a comeback album, The One and Only, released posthumously with Shakin' Stevens, producer Stuart Coleman. Owing to his health, Fury did little touring to promote the album. His last public appearance was at the Sunningdale pub, Northampton, on the 4th of December 1982. A few days after he died, Fury was recording a live performance for the Channel 4 television show Unforgettable, featuring 6 of his old hits, although at request of his mother, only 4 of them were broadcast. After returning from the recording sessions in the early hours of the 28th of January 1983, Fury collapsed from a heart attack at his home in London. His manager, Tony Reid, found him unconscious the next morning. He was taken to St Mary's Hospital in Paddington, but died later in the afternoon, aged 42. Rheumatic fever, which he had contracted as a child, damaged his heart and ultimately contributed to his death. You get the feeling with Billy Fury that, you know, like when he first started out, he was going there to sell his songs, not to perform, and he was a carer of wild animals. He went on tour to try and protect them, along with Marty Wilde. He was a nice guy, and he seemed to come across that way. I saw him on Russell Harty's show, and he seemed very pleasant, very sweet guy. And I'll dedicate this song to Pauline because she's a big fan of Billy Fury. So this one's for you, Pauline. Okay, now I've seen it. I've seen the pictures of this grave, and I've got it now. It's just coming to my eyesight. There we go. Very pretty looking grave. Oh my goodness, look at that. You know, quite often these graves are neglected when you get to them, but this one, it's really, really lovely in every respect. Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, the thing with that, look at the fresh flowers everywhere. It shows you how popular that Ronald Wycherley, shows you how popular Billy Fury still is. Yeah, lovely. Lovely little ornaments all around it, look. And fresh flowers. Okay, let's read the main stone anyway. And it's got 2 great pictures. One when he's really young, and one when he's a little bit older, I think in the 70s. Okay, let's start from the front. In loving memory of Ronald Wycherley, Billy Fury, passed away on the 28th of January 1983, aged 42, sadly mourned by Lisa, parents, relatives and friends. His music gave pleasure to millions. Rest in peace, darling Billy. Got a little guitar at the bottom. And if we look, we've got, go this side first, we've got the young Billy. There. Young Billy. And he started out, and then we've got very handsome man. There he is, later in his career. I actually think he looks more handsome there, really. Yeah. These have been left by fans, haven't they? Beautiful soul, never forgotten. Let's have a look. Oh. Wonderful person, kind and true. I will treasure the memory I have of you. Someone special, always in my heart. Yeah, the fans out there. Got another one. Oh, it's in our thoughts. And then we've got always in our thoughts, forever in our hearts. Yeah, it's a lovely grave, that. It's right at the top of the cemetery. Look. Lovely feeling here, actually. Very nice. Thank you, Billy, for being a wonderful singer and entertainer. See you later, Billy. Well, it's a gorgeous day today, so I hope you're, at this precise moment, not the moment you're watching the film, of course, but enjoying your day too. Making the most of it, as always. So take care, everyone. I hope I see you on the next film soon, and I will. Don't forget to subscribe, ding the bell so you see the future videos. You'll get a notification. It's free, and a thumbs up and a comment will be fantastic because I love comments. I like to talk to everybody who follows the channel. And I've got lots more films coming up, so I hope I see you again very soon. Bye.